know, why is it every time some classic cartoon or TV show is rebooted or revived in modern times, throngs of angry adult fans come out of the woodwork to say, "Where my childhood?" I'm gonna let you on a little secret, okay? All those classic cartoons you grew up loving and have this special, deep connection to today, you feel is being defiled and disrespected by corporate suits wanting to make a buck off your memories, well, they didn't care about you then, and they've never cared about you. They wanted to sell toys to you when you were a kid, just like they want to sell toys to your kids now with the revival. That's it. Animation Month, bitches! Yes, folks, deep down, cartoons only exist to sell you merchandise. And ever since their expansion in the 1980s, WWE has been no different. Through the decades, the company has slapped their logo onto anything they could find, especially toys, all for the sole purpose of making a buck. As part of their effort to further seep into the collective consciousness of young people, in 2014, WWE and Mattel created Slam City, which I think is meant to be different from the WWE City we saw in the first Scooby-Doo crossover. Aside from the little Rumbler toys, Slam City is best known for its stop-motion animated series featuring an assortment of superstars. The WWE Network has the entire collection available, both as individual segments and in an easy-to-watch 48-minute block. Have you ever wanted to see John Cena fix up a car or have Rey Mysterio help little kids cross the street? Well, now you can in a collection of 2-minute videos. So get ready, because this week we're looking at WWE Slam City. In the first episode, we join a match in progress between John Cena and The Big Show, so right away they're giving me a reason to tune out. But lo, a masked man called The Finisher appears on the big screen.
On behalf of WWE Chairman Mr. McMahon, you're all fired!
Now out of work, the whole roster is forced to go out into the eponymous City of Slams to get day jobs, and we spend the rest of the series going back and forth to see what everyone's up to. So now we've come full circle. Back in the 1990s, it was guys with day jobs who would become wrestlers. Garbage men, plumbers, tax collectors, repo men, and so forth. But now it's the wrestlers themselves going out to find new lines of work. Before we get into each wrestler's subplot, I want to point out that the stop-motion animation is really good here. These models are just like the toys they're based on, and the movements are super crisp. It's just too bad everyone on the show sounds like the original wrestlers all had really bad colds.
This car's attitude has been adjusted.
You may be king of the jungle, but around here, I'm the apex predator.
A $5,000 custom-made suit. Ruined! I wish I had a real job so I could afford some real food.
Our adventure begins with the Doctor of Thugonomics who takes a job as a mechanic. The guy running the place has Cena perform a list of tasks which our hero pulls off effortlessly. Whether this impresses or angers the show's viewers depends entirely on their age group.
There's still one more challenge. Find me a girlfriend?
I'm glad the boss did that elaborate setup before asking that question. It definitely removes some of the creepiness.
You need to fix my car so I can fit in it.
Why'd you buy a car you knew was too small for you? And I will say, Big Show cutting all his promos to the beat of his theme music really should have been his gimmick.
Pain will be unleashed unless you fix my car!
Whoa, that's an OSHA violation. For all his affluence, I never thought a guy like Alberto Del Rio needed a day job, but apparently those trust funds must have a lot of strings attached. Here we see Bert working as a humble barista. He seems really happy with his work. I'm guessing this show was produced during that time period in which Del Rio was a babyface. That was a weird couple of months. Speaking of remember when we all had really high hopes for Damien Sandow? Well, apparently in Slam City, the intellectual savior of dem asses has been wiser with his money and can just go around harassing his barista.
There's foam in my no-foam half-cap soy peppermint latte with a splash of skim. Yet, I hate foam!
It's here we get the first of many times a makeshift ring is made in a wrestler's place of business. Don't try this at home, kids! We also get our first display of the stretch move, apparently one of the bigger selling points of the new Slam City toy line. And they let you know about this feature a lot.
Stretch move!
Anyone else think that part was kind of graphic? I mean, where was the milk in his mouth? He was basically blending his tongue. Other Del Rio hijinks include getting Steve Austin's coffee stone cold and being a dick to The Miz. The guy just wanted to use the bathroom, dude. And you know this is fiction when Del Rio actually shows up to work on a consistent basis. Well, unfortunately, the role of mayor of Slam City is not up for grabs, as Santino falls into that job, more on that later, so that means the big red mayor-elect Kane has to settle for a job as a school lunch lady. It sure is nice to see that guy able to use pyro again. I guess the school's got a bigger budget than WWE.
My meatloaf is ice cold. Now make it hotter.
I'll make it hot. I mean, really hot!
By making some dangerously hot meatloaf, Kane wins the adulation of the children he serves. Then I think he burns them alive?
Now, who wants dessert?
In his journey, Kane encounters Santino and turns him into a pizza. Again, kinda gross if you think about it. And even his old Team Hell No partner, Daniel Bryan, shows up. By the way, this kid being one of the makeshift ring posts is one of the funniest things about this entire show. Who's that helping stunt grannies walk on by? R-E-Y! Rey Mysterio's job is to help little kids and old ladies cross the street. In a small moment of "Is this racist?", his sweet Mil Mascaras watches an alarm that plays La Cucaracha. You know, I can see why Rey Mysterio was given this job in this show. After all, luchadors and crosswalks are quite fond of one another. Here in Slam City, Rey's weight fluctuates between 180 and roughly 4,000 pounds, as we see him harmlessly hopping from car to car like Frogger one minute, then crushing cars by jumping onto them the next.
For the safety of all street crossers, I shall replace you!
Man, another sad example of a white man trying to take a job away from a hard-working Latino. What better way to enjoy a day out than escaping into the world of cinema? Here we see where Brock Lesnar's been all this time, while Universal Champion, playing the role of a discourteous theater patron. I'm guessing that giant sub came from Jimmy John's? In comes Sheamus, who's working in Slam City as a theater usher. Apparently this movie screen was brought over from Last Action Hero, as our boys get sucked into the movie as they brawl, battling through genres like swashbuckling classics, westerns, and romantic comedies.
I don't do romantic comedies.
You know, I never thought that Popeye and the Hulk would make for a good mashup of references, but it kinda works here. After a while, Sheamus and Brock stop jumping between film genres and are just teleporting to different famous landmarks, which is not the same thing. They finally make their way back into their world and receive a standing ovation from the audience.
Best action sequence ever!
I love the acting.
It stinks.
Okay, awesome Jay Sherman reference out of nowhere.
It stinks.
It turns out the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, does not have the world's strongest resume, as he ends up working as a waiter/mascot for a penguin-themed kids' pizza place. But it's not the children of this Chuck E. Cheese knockoff that torture the former sexual chocolate, but the animatronics.
Destroy Mark Henry.
So these penguin robots at this kids' restaurant have an evil setting in their programming? Who made these things, Burgess Meredith? Former Nation members reunite as The Rock shows up for some pie. Pizza pie, that is. The two fight it out for ownership of the pizza, but then join forces once the penguin bots steal it for themselves. I know I mentioned the voice acting earlier, but hearing someone try and sound like The Rock in particular, it's just weird.
Finally, The Rock has come back to Perky Pizza. Allow The Rock to provide you with some free appetizers, jabroni. The penguin-beating, pizza-eating, trailblazing, eyebrow-raising. Just bring it.
In what's probably the most fitting day job assignment in this series, CM Punk is now selling ice cream, though sadly, not in bar form.
One fresh-made strawberry ice cream coming right up.
Do I want to know how he got the cow to fit up there? Or is this just some kind of weird, self-aware cow machine? What's happening here? While slapstick is a major component of the series, everything else seems dialed down compared to Punk, who is literally Bugs Bunny on this show.
Where'd you... Ice Cream Man, where are you?
No habla idiota. What's up, Mark?
Punk deals with all sorts of characters at the playground, including The Miz, Henry, Sandow, and Kane, who I'm surprised didn't drag him away from the ice cream cart to chokeslam him through a table. And it's also established here that the chick magnet, I guess, lives in this cart? Which makes things even sadder when Henry destroys the thing. Hey, that was a guy's house, asshole! And yes, this is where Santino becomes the mayor of Slam City.
Everyone should have a job. And free ice cream. Oh, thank you. Yes.
Hell, I'd vote for him. What's the worst that could happen? Who knows animals better than, well, an animal? But since Batista, Johnny Ace's brother, George Steele, and a certain Muppet weren't part of the company at this time, that meant Randy Orton was left to fill the role of Slam City's Zookeeper. Here, Orton forms a bond with one of the gorillas, a bond that gets a little creepy after a minute.
This'll be our little secret, Sheila, okay?
This is the life, eh, Sheila?
Yeah, those two are definitely boning.
Attention all zoo employees. A wild goat is on the loose.
Where?
Goat Mountain!
Oh, it's not that shocking, is it? Orton encounters Bedazzle at the top of the mountain, which leads to some hilarious brawling, and I'm pretty sure at least a couple of straight-up murdered goats. Our old pal Santino comes back looking for a job and a battle ensues, but neither Cobra nor Viper are a match for a Texas rattlesnake as Stone Cold locks the other two in a cage. Orton is tormented by Santino's mere existence.
Pepperoni, which is my fifth favorite topping. My fourth favorite topping is a pineapple.
Pineapple? Pineapple? Minchia, affanculo su pineapple. Minchia, Santino Barella è un testi minchia perché fa pineapple, huh?
Throughout the show, we learn more about the man who's responsible for all this madness, the Finisher. It turns out he has Mr. McMahon hostage and fired all the other wrestlers so he may become the one and only superstar in WWE. El Finito is looking for the WWE Championship as the last piece of his puzzle. After lots of searching, he discovers that John Cena has it, because of course he does. The Finisher pulls a Shang Tsung and uses a bunch of other people's finishing moves on Cena before escaping with the title. Cena follows the Finisher to the arena where a trap has been set.
The Ring of Doom! The ropes are electrified! The turnbuckles are deadly!
Batteries not included! Slam City figures sold separately! The Rock takes time away from his pizza to make the save and helps Cena defeat the Finisher. But alas, their McMahon is in another castle. And that was WWE Slam City. Apparently there were big plans for this series. There were going to be more cartoons and school supplies, a mobile game, the whole shebang. But besides a short-lived comic book adaptation, it seems that none of that came to fruition. We may never know why, but the toys, the comics, and the cartoon were the only things that were ever realized in this grand vision. As for the cartoon, it's good for what it is, that being an incredibly transparent long-form commercial for a toy line. Even though the episodes were 2 minutes apiece, it was cool they were able to weave a complete story, including a cliffhanger finale that unfortunately we'll probably never see get resolved. If you watch it all in one sitting, it's easy to get irritated at the repetitive gags and tropes, but kids will certainly enjoy it. And hey, the toys aren't bad either. If I were a little kid, I'd have a blast playing with these things.